Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful Monday. We are back again with another PWCC/Fanatics weekly review where I go through the top 100 soccer cards as per usual on this fine Monday. If you do enjoy these videos, these weekly reviews, do make sure to leave a like, helps me, helps the channel, all that good stuff. But with that said, of course, let's go ahead and swing on over to the site. So starting over on the site, it is $112 to get into this weekly. Not a crazy benchmark, kind of a lower mark than some recently. I will say that this is a somewhat lackluster auction compared to some of the other ones that we do go through. So I'm going to go for a speed run attempt. We'll see if I can do it in under 30. We start with a couple Chronicles tickets here, some contenders, historic tickets, Ronaldo and Messi going for about the same price, nearly the same watchers there. A instantaneous Pele, we see a bunch of these, just a ton of different Peles in that set. I was kind of surprised with this variation Jude, just from a perspective of someone that doesn't know it. I do know that this is a pretty cool looking photo, and I've seen it before, but I didn't know a variation in and of itself went for $115 and a PSA 8. We'll see a couple of these 58 releases here going for $115 for Amaro. CR7 2006 card there, and a PSA 8 for $120 in this row. It'd be interesting what people think between a 2020 Topps Lost Rookie and a 2019 Gold Finest Footballers. I'd probably go Gold Finest Footballers. I think the Lost Rookie, personally, is a disgrace to some extent. At least the Rookie Shield. I mean, it's just egregious. But we got a Desorti here from the same set that we just saw a second ago. Above that, a row of Brazilians here from the 44 Americana release. Not like wildly notable names, but seemingly somewhat notable names. This is a hard release, generally speaking. Leonidas, I think we've seen go for 1,000 or 2 at times, maybe even more or less, I don't know. But a pretty good number compared to that. This Busquets struck me as just kind of low. If people actually like Inter Miami stuff, an out of 5 red chrome sapphire auto doesn't seem bad. And this Pele rookie from 58 goes for $132 there in a PSA 1. We have a 2006 PSA 10 Zidane for $138. Above that, this Kavicha was kind of surprising. Just a Calciatore PSA 9 for $144. It's Pop 1 and 2. I don't know if it's actually that hard to grade or what the deal is there, but interesting nonetheless. A 1.5 of this Pele went for $144. I looked it up, but I thought I closed it, but it is here. Compared to some comps, it's decent. I mean, there was a Raw that did $150, a PSA, I think this was a 1 here that did $270, which is kind of high. There was a 3 back in November last year that did $210. I mean, that strikes me as pretty low, but nonetheless, this 1.5 does $150, and it seems like an okay price. This Mbappe is definitely down, $150 for a 2016 foot. I think we have a graph on one of those later. No, we don't. But nonetheless, we do know that that's down. I mean, the 9 was lingering anywhere from 3 to 500. It's down a little bit too because it got up to 500 when Real Madrid was still in the Champions League and people were excited. A little less so now. Cristiano Ronaldo white select swatch there goes for $156. A caricature Dean from 28 goes for $156 as well. And then top of page 4 here we have a UK Traditions Cristiano Ronaldo, a Nawari Impeccable out of 18, and a Swedish Record Pele for $168. Definitely the lowest I've ever seen a Swedish record at. Granted, I know it's a less desirable issue and all that good stuff, but page 3, we start with a Jalma Santos here, spelled wrong, but is that... Okay, I guess it's spelled right compared to the Alifa, so fair play. 168 there for a PSA 6, which is a pretty good grade and a decent price. I mean, respectable, I guess. Mazzola PSA 4 here for 168. That was actually a pretty high price. I think I looked it up, and I did. We've seen some 1s. There was a 3 here. A 3 here did $40. This 4 does 160. Before there were some 4s for 40 and 80, so definitely up a good bit on that one. That, I believe, is a second-year item for him. We have an Mbappe rookie here, PSA 8.5 for $174 again, just showing the low prices on these, generally speaking. A 76 Ruiz Romero, Johan Cruyff. Did I look that one up? Wow, I'm 3 for 3 so far. This one actually up a lot. I mean, last PSA 6 sold in 2023, so granted almost 2 years ago. But when you go and look at this comp, 174 up quite a bit. So that's doing pretty good. And I mean, 70s Cruyff in general seems like it's ticked back up a little bit. It was really cheap, and to be honest, I can barely ever find any of this like in the wild. I'm sure it exists, and I'm sure you can if you're really, really deep into it. But yeah, I don't see a lot of Cruyffs, generally speaking, on like foreign websites and whatnot. So 174, I mean, seems nice. 9 watchers as well, which is somewhat notable. 10 watchers here on the Zito that we've been seeing, or at least the set we've been seeing. This goes for 174. Zidane auto for 174. Those have been tanking. It is what it is. The more and more that get released, the sort of, abysmal auto as well just doesn't help, I'm sure. PSA 10 Este from 2014 goes for $180. You have a 77 Rummenigge here that I'm not really sure on the release format. It's definitely oversized, and I have no clue. That's not very familiar to my eye, but 186 there is a somewhat respectable number. Only 8 watchers, which is kind of low. Got a Gaza here, an 86 Panini Football. PSA 6, this is his rookie, and a PSA 6 is, not a great grade, but, probably average if I had to guess in terms of the pop report. Maybe a little below average, but, you don't see these pop up in high grade a lot. I think there's only... So 186 for PSA 6 seems pretty reasonable for what is a cult hero there. 2018 Topps Now, this was impressive at first, but then you realize it's 2018, so I'm assuming the print run on this was probably really small. The Topps Now itself actually looks really good, I think. The imagery is nice, and of course it's messy. It's PSA 10. It's got all the buzzwords that you want, but I think that was a decent price nonetheless. 29 watchers, which is pretty good, I would say, for Topps Now. Next to it, you got this Vecchi, this Garincha rookie, quote-unquote rookie. Got a lot going on, man. It's trimmed, it's got the corners cut, it's got these red splotches everywhere, it's got white paper loss everywhere. I haven't even looked at the back. Somehow the back survived most of it, so I have no clue what that red stuff is. I have no clue what's going on here, but it felt like a pretty good price. This is a fairly iconic vintage card / sticker, I would say, but obviously that's pretty poor condition. We've seen PSA 1s go anywhere from like 2 to 300 to like 5 to 8 at times, so it's a wide range depending on the copy. Nearly 2 for this one feels like a pretty strong price. Next to it, we have a Vava PSA 5 for $186. Not a rookie, but labeled as one nonetheless. Above that, an Idemar Pele for $198 in a PSA 1. We have a George Best 67 International Taifu Tea here that goes in a PSA 9 for $210. This half Pele, we talk about this sometimes, but you got, the right half of Pele's face in here. Left if you're facing him, but right for him. Nonetheless, this is a decent grade. Pop 1 of 8, 6 higher, PSA 4 you don't see all too often, so if you're like a registry guy, that doesn't seem crazy to me. If you're a collector, it's probably not everyone's cup of tea for sure. Above that, Alifa PSA 1 Garincha. Again, it says rookie, not rookie, nonetheless. $216 on this one. Feels like a good price. We'll see another one here in a second, which sort of validates that initial thought. There's a Fontaine here from the 58 Bremer Fakri and a PSA 9. That's really the draw, I would say. That goes for $228. This Levyashin, just always a lovely Levyashin. This is labeled as 1960. I think PSA slabs it as 59 right now. It's been slabbed as 58 in the past, so it's kind of all over the place. But this is a pretty early... if not rookie Levyashin, it might not technically be rookie year, but I think this is what people look at as his rookie, since it is, a portrait shot. It's just absolutely beautiful. The colors are great. It's from a notable set. It's just got a lot of things going for it. And there are no, at least as of people's knowledge yet, there's no pre-58 World Cup Levyashins out there. So once those get found, if they get found, if it exists, this might take a little bit of a backseat. But even then, I think it's an important card because, you would assume whatever else comes out would be extremely rare. And PSA 10 Cruyff here from a pretty easy to grade set. You see these in high grade a good bit, so that goes for $234, pop 1 of 9. You have this Florian Albert from 62. Pretty fun caricature set. I do believe this is a Florian Albert rookie. I could be wrong on that, but I remember getting his San Giorgio, and that was a really early one for him too. So I would guess that this is rookie, if not, rookie constellation type stuff. Topps Anime complete set. Very interesting to see this here. PSA 10 goes for $240. And then you have this Matthias Sindelar from 1930, sort of a playing card. It's not really a playing card, but it's got like a playing card back to it. And this Sindelar in particular goes for $240. Pretty roughed up. Seems like a good price. There was one on ComC that went recently for like $100 to $125, and I think I was the underbidder on it, so I'm kind of kicking myself now that goes for $240. I think the eBay copy was a little nicer. Nonetheless, it feels like a decent price. We saw 5 go for around $1,000 in that vintage auction. A Kata here from 1926 Greeling goes for $252, which felt like a decent price. You see these from time to time, but Kata stuff in general is not all that easy. Greeling, a very notable pre-war set coming out of Germany there, gets a decent number. This 1/1 Jota goes for $264. Last week I said Holland looked cheap at $800 for Donruss in a PSA 8. I think it was $500, and I think this kind of shows as to why. A Jota going for like half the price. Now granted, it's an optic, it's a PSA 10, but like who cares? It's Diogo Jota. I get there's collectors, no offense to you. I love it. I love anyone that collects whoever. But, like, when you're comparing players, I mean, that's not comparable at all, really. Thierry Henry here, this Foot 2001 sticker PSA 6 goes for $264. I looked this one up. I don't know if I kept it. I guess we'll have to see. Wow, 4 for, geez, we're just on a roll. But yeah, in terms of sales, I was surprised you didn't see many because, like for Zlatan, you saw a lot of them. For some of the other players, you saw a lot of them. For some reason, this Thierry Henry, you haven't seen much. And, you know, I'm interested as to why that is. I'd imagine they still exist out there somewhere, but pop 1 of 2, 8 graded higher for this. It goes for $264. Not many sales in the past, 500, 336. So this is, a little low, but fairly respectable given how many high grades came out for other stickers and sort of just the general lack of excitement around them after that. Now, I still think they're great stickers. I just think that, the high grades sort of tampered expectations or put a little bit of a blanket over people's excitement. I still think it's a fun sticker. 62 Pele here in SGC 4 goes for $276. We have a PSA 10 80s Maradona, which is interesting. That goes for $288, which to me doesn't feel crazy. But at the same time, I'm sure there are 10s out there. There's, tons of sealed stuff out there. But are people going to be submitting Maradonas at $20 a pop? Barely ever getting 10s because they're stickers. I don't know. Nonetheless, that's a fun one if you're a Maradona collector. Alifa Boulanger here, Garrincha PSA 3 goes for $288, sort of referencing the high sale on the SGC 1 we saw a little bit ago. This one goes for like less than 100 more in a PSA 3. Inception Red standout performance, Kylian Mbappe, 300. Neymar sticker from 2018, 300 in a PSA 10. Sadly, didn't pull this one up, 324 on this one, and that's down. We just kind of know that. Like, I think the relative low from like 2020 and beyond is around $300. So this is about as low as it gets. It's gone close to 500 recently, again with the excitement, but it's back down and seemingly not doing all that great. To me, this is like the last of a dying era of Panini stickers. I think this is like the transitionary sticker from, prior to this where stickers really were people's rookie to now with Kylian Mbappe kind of swap into the modern era. To me, it's still an important sticker. I like it. I don't own one, and the cheaper they keep getting, maybe I think I will, but then at the same time, I'm like, well, maybe they'll just keep getting cheaper, so I don't know. I'd love to hear what you guys think down below and where you stand on this sticker. To me, it feels important, but at the same time, maybe that's just because I'm so enamored with the 4 or 5 years I've been in the hobby and I just focus on the sticker a lot. Maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment to some degree. Beyond that, 2016 National Convention Infinite Ronaldo, 324. I like this instant. It's always a fun one. This just him kissing the trophy after his Euro win. This is numbered out of like 350, 330. There it is, 329. So fairly rare to me. If you're going to get the Panini Messi instant and you like both of them, you like Ronaldo too, I think this would be a fun pairing. If you hate Ronaldo, you love Messi, then don't get it. If you love Ronaldo, you hate Messi, maybe get it. I don't know. 336 for this, though. In terms of comps, I don't know if that was a great comp or not. For PSA 10, it doesn't feel crazy to me because Raws do a decent number on that. Moving on up, a Jude sticker auto here. You got a Messi Nobility out of 199 for 350. PSA 10 granted. A Kareem Benzema Kaboom PSA 10 for 350 as well. You got this Godfrey Phillips and Billy Bassett for 360. This is sort of the earliest, most iconic thing that comes to mind for me. There's going to be another one later in the auction that we'll talk about. But this is the Billy Bassett here from the 1896 Godfrey Phillips General Interest. This isn't a soccer set. It's sort of a miscellaneous set, but it does have soccer players in it. West Brom Albion, as you can see here on the bottom. And I mean, the more you zoom in, the more like kind of dopey it looks. But I mean, from here, like this to me is just absolutely beautiful. It's one of the more notable, I would say, early 1800s soccer cards. To me, this is just what I think of when I think of earliest soccer cards. I know there's other ones that exist, but to me, this one and the Arthur Smith that we'll see here in a bit just stand out so much. Obviously, fairly beat up. I mean, it gets a 2, which is kind of lower grade for these. It goes for 360, pop one a 4.9 higher. In terms of sales, a PSA 4 did 600. Back in 2025, just a few months ago there, it did 630. So this one doing 360 seems fair. Half the price, half the grade about. SGC 6, 5, and a PSA 6 did 1,200 back during 2020 and 2023. So, yeah, I mean, it seems within the range. Cheap entry if you're looking to get into that. Above that, Ruiz Romero Eusebio from 63 goes in a PSA 7 for 396. It says rookie, and it's technically not a rookie as it's, not the first year, but it is rookie consolation, so I think that is sensible. The Panini Calciatore sort of gets that rookie designation as well, so I don't think that this is crazy. But $396 for a PSA 7 sounds pretty good. Like if you're a Eusebio guy getting this early Ruiz Romero in a PSA 7 pop 1/1 for only a little under 400, that's not bad at all. Kaboom Maldini for 432. I don't know what to say about that. I'll just keep scrolling. I have nothing to say about the UK Traditions Messi. Not a fan of that personally. I do find it interesting, though, how PWCC does actually go against what it says on the slab. It says 2004. They label it as 2006. I say PWCC. It's Fanatics Collect. Fanatics Collect, at least as far as my understanding goes, they say they can't really change the titles of these listings, and I think it's just they don't really care to be honest, because clearly they can. I mean, this is labels 2006, it says 2004 on the slab, and at one point in time it said 2004 on the site, but no longer. Nonetheless, I'm just harping on them. 58 Bremer Pele here, mostly. I mean, it's a Brazil team, but it's mostly Pele. That's why the people are here. 456 for this one. You have a metal Saka and Declan Rice. What a time to be alive there. That one goes for 456, 1/1. You have a PSA 3 journal. Again, low prices on these journals, but they are just down. I mean, in a world where Pele has a lot of rookies, which is the world we live in, some of the lesser desirable ones make sense that they sort of have done what they've done, which is fall greatly. This PSA 3 goes for 500 and keeps on following the trend. So at least here I like it. I really don't like the ones that just have Pele by himself. I really like him and Garrincha there. I like the red border. So at least to me, the IPL on that looks good from here. And then we have a Kaboom Phil Foden for 500. Again, would you rather have that or the Maldini? I don't know. Mazzola 57 here. I thought this was kind of cheap. I don't know if I pulled it up. I keep saying this every time, but because I pulled up a lot, but some of it I just closed. This is from 57. He does have some O and Bs from this year that have gone, 5 or 6 of them have sold in the last few years, and those go for 500. This is the only one of this particular issue I've seen, and it goes for 500. Pretty beautiful as well. I feel like this was a cheap price, at least compared to the other 57 Mazzolas we've seen. You have a Totti here from 1994 Merlin Calcio, PSA 9. This one, the PSA 9s for a couple years have been around 500 to 600, so this one's right there as well. Then we go to page 1. So here we start with a Leaf Messi sticker auto for 528, Julian Alvarez Kaboom for 552. I lost this Athersmith that I did take a stab at, a pretty decent stab at. The last one of these, a PSA 3, had sold for 600, so I basically took it up to comp. Again, I think these are just absolutely beautiful. Would have loved to have added it. Congrats whoever did. Back's great, front's great, just perfection, to be honest, at least in terms of early vintage. Pop 1 to 3, 9 higher goes for 600. I don't think these are up much, if any, compared to pre-boom, so I found that somewhat interesting. 38 watchers as well, which is pretty decent. Variation Ronaldo PSA 10 from 2017 Chrome goes for 600. In terms of comps, so that's actually pretty good. It's been as low as 370. We've seen comps at 400 to 500 pretty consistently, so this one's up, close to 2023 prices at this point. That one's come back a little bit. Saka Color Blast for 630. This finest Superfractor Mukuku. Of course, we can find the comp somehow in the eBay history. There is a comp. This is the comp. It is the 1/1 Raw for 10K off of eBay in 2022, which 2022, that was when the hype was dying for him, or was probably dead to some degree. So even that was a suppressed price, and that still lost 91% from that point in time, even though we got a gem. So I mean, just brutal stuff. And, that's a great sort of example for the people that are prospecting. I mean, this would have been the chase of a life. If you hit this card in 2020, to be honest, you're probably looking at tens of thousands, maybe 100K. I don't know. That's probably a little over the top, but tens of thousands for sure. And now it's a $660 card. So just, food for thought. In this row, we get some vintage here, 65 TTT for $690. This was a pretty good price, I thought, at least compared to a PSA 6 that went low on eBay recently for a little over $1,000. But for a 4, I think it's a fair price, if not a little high, but generally speaking, nothing crazy. Bisfalita back here, Pele from 1970, Panini goes for $750. You have the 62 Petrota, that is a Pele and a PSA 1, super hard to find, pop 1 to 3, 5 higher, goes for $780. Pretty nice looking one, fun one with the Santos badge. You got Pele's head sort of floating there, sort of a pennant design. Got a little bit on the back there. Obviously, you can see some paper loss, and I guess the bottom is a little scuffed there, but still a fun one. I would imagine that this is their mascot. I do not know. That thing is terrifying, to be honest. So we're just going to keep it moving. Lamine Yamal auto from 2023 tops Year of the Dragon for 780. Feels pretty strong. You know, and I'm not even going to say Mukuku because that's just unfair. I mean, Lamine Yamal is really impressive, to be fair. I get it, but like a sticker auto from Year of the Dragon, man, for 800, it sounds pretty pricey, but next to it we have a Vinicius PSA 10 Mega Cracks just base rookie. To me, that was kind of interesting. I really didn't expect that to be as expensive as it was, but then I looked at the comps, and I mean, honestly, you can't find any PSA 10s. I tried. I mean, there's one here a year ago that went for 1,600. Other than that, you just kind of keep scrolling. There's one here 2 years ago for 1,200, so it's like it sells once a year apparently. And this one is kind of cheap, but obviously he's down a little bit from his Ballon d'Or season, so that's probably fair. We got a Lewandowski here. This is the gold no ball for 930 and a PSA 10. We got another gold here in a second. Kind of struck me as high, you know, Lewandowski gold going for nearly 1,000. I mean, granted it is PSA 10, so I get that, but it seemed like a good price. Cristiano Ronaldo sticker from 2020 Euro goes for 930. We have a Kaboom David Beckham going for nearly 1,000. Again, not a whole lot to add. The Schaefer seemed like a really high price, at least compared to 2 we saw recently. There was a 2 that had sold for maybe like 200 or 300. This 3 goes for nearly $1,000. Of course, again, on the back, you got the nice looking bulldog smoking a cig. And on the front, you got Schaefer putting on some moves. It's a pretty fun one. I've never really taken too much of a look at it. It's kind of an interesting position for a defender to be in here. Nonetheless, really nice price on that. $990 there. Kind of a standout, I guess, in terms of vintage for this auction, as there wasn't a whole lot. You got the gold ball here out of 10, PSA 10 for 1,050, a little bit of a premium over the earlier one we saw. This refractor Holland up to 1,260. This is PSA 10 2019 Topps Chrome refractor, which has been, you know, that's the graph of prospects, generally speaking. Just saying. Now, Holland hasn't won a Ballon d'Or, but he's done some great things. I mean, some really good things. And this is his price chart. So, now granted, there was a run-up, there was a boom, there was a fall, but, like, you know, even beyond that, even if you took out the boom and pretended like it wasn't there, it was still 2,300 in August of 2020, and now it's half that in 2025. So, and there's a lot more collectors and just a lot more people in the space than there was back here. I'll make a video talking about that, but yeah, there's just so many more people here now than there was back here, and yet still the price is halved on this. So it's just very interesting. And since the last price was 1,020, for some reason a lot of these PWCC things didn't get into card ladder for some reason, but the last sale was 1,020. This one's up a little bit. So it recovered, I guess, minorly from its fall, but yeah, it's kind of just hanging out at this point. Lautaro Martinez, 1 of 1 for $1,290 there from 2023 Immaculate. You got this, which struck me as kind of low for like Ronaldo stuff. I mean, a Ronaldo out of 5, PSA 10 green, which is like a pseudo color match. With a national pride theme in a national kit. I thought it was cool. I didn't go after it, so I guess, you know, it tells you how cool I thought it was, but I thought it was cool. 51 watchers there, feels strong as well, and, that seems like a fun one. I take it over a sticker auto next to it, 2019 Premier League Prism auto in a PSA 10 grade that goes for $1,400. You have this Aquarella for $1,600. Apparently this is like kind of the price they go for at this point. In my head, I had always had it as like $1,000 a grade for the Aquarella, at least for some of the lower grades. That seemingly is down, or at least has been down. Now, again, the sale didn't register, so this would actually be down towards the lower prices we're seeing here. It's come back a good bit. They've been higher at times, $2,400, $2,500, but as low as $1,500 over the last 2 years. Down a good bit. They've kind of kept marching, but at sometimes, they do go back up. Maybe it's an eye appeal thing. It's hard to tell. But generally not doing great. I guess if you just look at this chart, I mean, it doesn't look great. Technically, it says 8%, but if you're going off the sale we actually just saw, it's down like 30 or 40. And then the top row, a really depressing row, to be honest. I was scrolling through this doing prep, and I was like, I thought we had more to go. 1,800 for Panini Nobility Iconic Signatures Messi out of 15, which is a sticker auto there, and a PSA 10 for 1,800. Looks like a decent auto in terms of autos. You got to look at those now and care about them and, figure out what you think's real or not. It's a weird world out there, but that looks all right to me. Not really like a standout design, but generally Nobility has a lot of fanfare, a lot of collectors, so maybe there's, people hunting this niche as well. Next to it, this Lamine Yamal seemed like a super high price. I mean, it just naturally seemed like a high price, but then you look at comps and it makes it seem like even more of a high price. This does 21.90, nearly 22, and a PSA 9 out of 299. So yeah, like PSA 9 out of 299, not really, speaking all that much to me. In terms of comps, a PSA 8 did 630 on a best offer, a PSA 9 did 710, and then a PSA 9/10 did 1,000. So I have no clue what happened here. I mean, this went for the price of a 1010 for a 9. Don't know how to explain it. Doesn't really make any sense to me. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if that goes unpaid, but time will tell. And then finally, a 71 bis and a 5.5 leads the auction. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this before. So let's dig in. We can inspect BGS's grading here. Oh my god, yeah. I mean, kind of torched on the sides, as you can see there. Corners are rough. Definitely rough corners. 6 on the corners. You got a 4.5 on the surface. So the surface is even worse than the edges I'm witnessing. This is a 7 edges, is pretty disgusting, to be honest. But, I mean, it's a 5.5. The card's going to be beat. I get it. I'm not going to harp on BGS too much. I don't think this would be a 5 or a 6 at PSA. They probably go lower at this point. Now, is that a testament to PSA, or is that, sort of a detraction to PSA and shows that they've changed their grading standards? I don't know. Everyone can decide for themselves, but, yeah. I mean, obviously an iconic card. The people love it. I personally love it as well. $2,400 on that one. Feels like a decent price, and I did look at comps, and it kind of was. Last sale for a 5.5 did $2,100 on a best offer, so this does, well, I guess there's $2,400 on best offer here, $2,100 on a best offer here, $2,100 on auction, and $1,600 on auction 2 years ago. So over the last 2 years, up like 50%, and that's with an auction sale, so with a best offer, maybe it's up 60-70%, maybe more. I mean, pretty impressive growth on the 71 bis after a decent fall, but seemingly doing pretty good. And that tops the auction block here for this week. Gonna take a look at next and crossing my fingers that it's a little better than this one. I guess we'll find out. PSA 5 Aquarella, all right, so that's already better than the 71 bis, to be fair. PSA 9 Auto, again, auto for Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi from some pretty big sets. Granted, they're base, but, it is what it is. Another Aquarella, a Zebra Kylian Mbappe, PSA 7 of the 70 Panini Pele. Cool Casillas, you got a Johan Cruyff and an 8. SGC 10 Mbappe. A gold Jamie Vardy, which I'm guessing is a rerun. I think I saw one of those before. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, kind of another lackluster week next week. I don't know if the 170 took too much home with it. Although, to be fair, I think we were spoiled. With 170 and like the gold prism waves we've been getting lately, this has been a crazy, review that we've been doing. Maybe this is more back to norm. I hope not. But it seems like it is that way. But that's going to be it for me today. Hopefully you enjoyed. As always, if you did, make sure to leave a like. We'd love to hear your thoughts in a comment down below, what you thought sold high, low, maybe something you snagged. And if you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.